Good morning. Let us discuss about the preamble. So preamble is a very important part of the Indian Constitution. When I use the word preamble, this is nothing but the introduction to the Constitution. This is the pretext of the Indian Constitution. And the American Constitution is the first constitution to use this preamble. And sometimes there was a discussion whether preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution or not. But over a period of time, the apex court in India made it very clear the preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. Let's try to look into this now. Let me open the document straight away and talk to you regarding the preamble. Look at this. The preamble is the introduction to the Constitution. The preamble is an epitome of the broad features of the Constitution. And if you look at this point which I'm highlighting now, you know what exactly is this point. In the previous class, I was talking to you about the objectives resolution that was moved by Jawaharlal Nehru in the Constituent Assembly. And he moved it on December 13th, 1946. And we know all these points. Later, the objectives resolution has been adopted into the Indian Constitution in the form of the preamble. Hence, we give highest respect to this preamble. And for your information, I would like to tell one thing. Whatever the preamble I am going to talk to you now, I request all of you to remember this preamble. Complete preamble you have to remember. Very important. Of course, it is very short. It's of 1 page in length. When we open the Indian Constitution, the first thing what we come across is the preamble. Later, we'll be looking into some other areas of the Indian Constitution. But why it is important? See, sometimes during our discussions, we'll come across with the words like values in the Constitution. What do you mean by these values? The word values is not mentioned, and what are the values of the Constitution are not mentioned within the Constitution. But the essence of the Constitution, the spirit of the whole Constitution is embodied in the preamble. Hence, for anybody, if he understands the preamble properly, and if he understands the meaning of each and every word in the preamble, that itself is nothing but the values of the Constitution. For example, in some classes I was talking to you about, some people will talk against the concept of the religion. There are so many religions in the country. For each religious people, their own religion is important. But at the same time, the Constitution of India has used a word secular. And we know what is the meaning of the word secular. This is nothing but giving equal importance to all the religions. But sometimes in the recent past also we have seen there are something called forced conversions. And forced conversions are not permitted. Meaning these are the people who are acting against the principles of the Constitution. These are the people who are acting against the values of the Indian Constitution. That's the reason, especially for all the politicians, or rather the administrators, they are expected to have lots of values, and that is possible for them only when they understand the entire spirit of the Indian Constitution. Okay, and regarding that, so we are going to have a discussion. Even in the main examination also, for civil services, and even in the public administration also, we frequently come across with the words values of the Indian Constitution. Kindly remember, the same things we are going to repeat even during that time. That's the reason I request you to pay great attention to this particular part. Anybody who understands the preamble thoroughly, properly, and completely, then understanding the remaining part of the Constitution becomes very easy for him. At the same time, he can imbibe the values that are present in the Constitution within himself. That is a basic idea. Okay, that is number one. Number two, very frequently in various examinations, the questions are being asked from preamble. Number two, in the main examination in the civil services, there may be a situation which is demanding you to write the whole preamble. And if you write the whole preamble or part of the preamble, depending on the question that is being asked, you will be given certain marks. Hence, it is always important and advantageous to know the whole preamble. I'll show you the whole preamble now, and we'll try to go for a detailed and comprehensive discussion. Okay. Now, I'm opening the document now. Look at this. So this is based on objective resolution. We know this. But if you look at Indian preamble, now look at this. So this is the whole preamble what we have. Kindly read along with me. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. And if you look at this first line and the second line, constitute India into a, I gave you 5 words beside this: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. And out of these 5 words, I changed the color of 2 words here: socialist and secular. Why it is so, we'll try to understand. But kindly pay attention on these areas. So I gave a different color here because something is important. So sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political. Kindly see here, when you are reading or when you are writing or when you are memorizing this preamble, the sequence of the words is also very, very important. This preamble has been deliberately designed in such a way, every word that is present in the preamble is important, and the sequence is also very, very important. What do you mean by this sequence? Look at this. Justice. We have given social, economic, and political. So in the Constituent Assembly, there was a discussion, and the members have agreed that without social justice, there is no meaning for economic and political justice. This is the idea that was expressed. Hence, more than economic justice and political justice, social justice has been given the predominance. That is the reason why the sequence of the words is also important. But in the examination, because of any reason, if you write instead of social, economic, and political, if you write political, economic, and social, or economic, political, and social, that will be sending some wrong signals. There is a possibility of some, at least a half mark or 1 mark may be reduced. Let us not take any risk. That's the reason writing in the sequence is important. Social, economic, and political. Next one is the liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. We'll explain each and every one. So meaning the people who are present in India have been given enough freedom or the liberty. Liberty in what? In the thought, in expression, in belief, in faith, and also in worship. And next, if you go to this equality, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity. assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. If you look at the word integrity, again, it has been given a different color here. Let's understand now. If we go to the last bottom line, in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Okay? And what are all the words that are present in the red color? They are very, very important. We, the people of India, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. And if you go to the last but one line, second line from the bottom, 26th day of November 1949. Kindly remember this one. This is the date that is mentioned in the preamble. And we know what is the significance of 26th day of November 1949. This is the date on which the Constituent Assembly has adopted the Constitution. In the sense, the date of adoption has been mentioned in the Constitution. The date of adoption has been mentioned in the preamble and not the date of enforcement of the Indian Constitution. It was a question in the previous examination. I'll show you that question after some time, but kindly remember 26th day of November 1949. This is the date what is mentioned in the preamble. And if you go to the top here, if you go to the first line, beside this sovereign, we have socialist and secular. And if you go to the third line from the bottom, we have a word integrity. And I have given the different colors for these words because these three words were not mentioned in the original constitution. These three words were not mentioned in the original preamble. Over a period of time, through the 42nd Amendment in the year 1976, these three words have been added. Am I clear? And remember, this is the only one time where the preamble has been amended so far. We are giving lots of importance, respect to this preamble, and we are not touching this one very frequently. It was touched only one time in the year 1976 through the 42nd Amendment. We added three words: socialist, secular, and followed by integrity. So this is the whole preamble. Now let's try to explain this one after the other. Look at this. Look at this one. The American Constitution is the first constitution to begin with a preamble. Now, the Indian Constitution is the same thing here. Let me show you. Here, they said that we, the people of United States of America, but we said that we, the people of India. That is the only thing. Now, if you go to here, the Indian Constitution was based on the objectives resolutions drafted and moved by Nehru in the Constituent Assembly. Okay, we know this point. So far, the preamble has been amended only once. It was in the year 1976, and it was through 42nd Amendment. Okay, next, the 42nd Amendment added three new words to the preamble: socialist, secular, and integrity. Look at this. The Constitution derives the authority from the people. What do you mean by this authority from the people? I'm just going back to show you something that is present in the preamble. If you look at this, here what is that we have written? We, the people of India. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a, meaning the framers of the Indian Constitution have given the credit to the people of India, and the people are considered to be the largest source of the Indian Constitution. Meaning, this is the Constitution that has been developed by the people of India, and at the end, if you look at this, in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves. Kindly understand these points. These are important for the examination point of view. In the beginning, we said, we the people of India, we ourselves have prepared the constitution for ourselves. And at the end, on this particular day, we have adopted, enacted, and we have given to ourselves. We prepared and we gave it to ourselves this constitution. That's the reason why, in a broader sense, the constitution was prepared by the people of India, but on behalf of the people, it was framed by the Constituent Assembly. Am I clear? Next. That is a basic idea. So the constitution derives authority from the people. Okay. Now, if you look at, so sometimes, so there was just like anything. So even with respect to preamble, also certain discussions were there, and whether the preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution or not. That is a basic point. In the beginning, even the apex court also made it clear that the preamble is not a part of the Indian Constitution. That's the reason why it cannot be amended just like that any other part of the Indian Constitution. But over a period of time, the Supreme Court changed its version and said that the preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. But today, the latest judgment of the Supreme Court is important for us, and even according to the Supreme Court, the preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. Am I clear? Now, I'll open the document. We'll see what are these judgments. Let's see here. Now, look at this now. Is preamble a part of the Constitution? Many times, these were the questions from this area. Let's see here. In the year 1960, kindly remember these names. What are these cases? I will have a discussion with you in a detailed manner later when I'm talking to you regarding the case laws. But kindly remember certain points now. In the Berubari case, the Supreme Court ruled that preamble is not a part of the Constitution. This is the number one. Look at this. Later in the year 1973, in the Keshavananda Bharati case versus State of Kerala, the Supreme Court rejected the earlier opinion and held that the preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. The court said that the Constitution could not be amended so as to alter the basic elements. That is nothing but you cannot alter the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Sometime back in the previous class, I was talking to you something about basic structure of the Indian Constitution. The Constitution itself did not mention about what is the basic structure. But with the various judgments of the Supreme Court, we come to know what exactly is the meaning of the basic structure. That's the reason today, under the Constitution, the Parliament is completely empowered to amend any part of the Indian Constitution, including the preamble. But in between, the judgments of the Supreme Court will play a crucial role. Since the Supreme Court made it very, very clear, the basic structure cannot be amended. So, the Parliament should be very careful whenever they are amending the Constitution. Because of any reason, if the Supreme Court feels that the amendment that is made by the Indian Parliament is altering the basic structure, again the Supreme Court comes into the picture and announces that the amendment that is made by the Parliament is nullified. So Supreme Court has the power to strike down the laws that are made by the Parliament, including the amendment laws. Okay. Now, kindly remember, these are the two case laws. Something else is also there. We'll see. In 1960, in Berubari case, Supreme Court ruled that preamble is not a part of the Constitution. But in the year 1973, the Supreme Court made it clear that preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. But the only thing is that you cannot amend this in such a way to alter the basic structure. Again, in the year 1995, in LIC of India versus Consumer Education and Research Center case, the court again held that preamble is an integral part of the Indian Constitution. Okay, and kindly remember this: preamble is not justifiable, is non-justifiable, and we know what is the meaning of this. Next one, we'll try to see what are the components of the preamble. The Constitution derives its authority from the people of India. Yes, we have understood this in the beginning itself. The people of India are the source of the Indian Constitution. Yes, we know this point. Next one, the preamble declares that India to be of a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So, meaning the preamble itself is declaring that India is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. India is sovereign, India is socialist, India is secular, India is democratic, and India is a republic. We'll try to understand each and every word now. Let's go to the next line. The preamble also specifies the objectives of the Constitution. Kindly remember this. Whatever the words we have seen here, this is nothing but the preamble declares India to be of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the same preamble is also giving objectives of the Constitution, and it specifies ABCD: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Kindly see here for a moment. I'll go back to the preamble. Look at these words again. Whatever the preamble has mentioned that India to be, or what are the objectives, specific objects of the preamble. This 5 plus 4, all the 9 words are mentioned within the preamble. If you observe this, in the first line, kindly see sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. And starting from the third line, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, if you look at very clearly, the objectives of the preamble are mentioned here. Justice should be achieved, liberty should be provided, equality and fraternity. These 4 are considered to be the objectives, specific objectives. Hopefully, I'm clear. You need to follow these points very clearly. That is very, very important. And the date of adoption that was mentioned was November 26th, 1949. Okay. And next one, the preamble serves the 2 purposes. So what are these 2 purposes? Let's see here. Number 1, it indicates the source from which the Constitution has been derived. Constitution derived its authority, that is nothing but the people. And it also states that the objects which the Constitution seeks to establish and promote. Number 1, what is the source? Number 2, what are the objects? Next one. Now let's try to understand these words one after the other. First, let me talk to you regarding the word that is called the sovereign. So many times you might have heard the word sovereign. India is sovereign. And for that matter, any country in the world may be a sovereign nation if that country is not influenced by either external or internal forces. Nobody can pressurize the nation to decide on certain aspects. It is the government of the day that will decide what is better for the nation. And external forces cannot act. If this is the case in any country, that country is considered to be a sovereign. Hence, India is a sovereign, and India became sovereign on January 26th, 1950. Am I clear? Meaning, with the commencement of the Constitution, India became sovereign, and I'll show you some more points which are present with me. Let's try to have a look at this. Look at this. Sovereign means independent authority of a state. This is the absolute and the supreme power. This means that India has the power to legislate on any subject. And if you look at the next point, India is not subjected to the control of any external authority. Look at this one. These two are important for me. Third line, India has the power to legislate on any subject. Nobody can give directions to India. And the government of the day, within the provisions of the constitution, we can make any law on any subject. And India is not subjected to the control of any external authority. No, meaning no external pressure, no external directions. Next point, India is neither dependency nor a dominion of any other nation but an independent state. Okay, India is an independent state. Now look at this. I gave something note here. Before August 15th, 1947, India was a colony of the British Empire. From August 15th, 1947 to January 26th, 1950, India was a dominion state in the British Commonwealth of Nations. And on 1950, India became a sovereign nation. Kindly remember, these are the 3 points we are giving. Up to August 15th, 1947, it was a colony of the British Empire. From August 15th up to January 26th, India was enjoying a dominion state in the British Commonwealth of the Nations. But the day on which we have commenced the constitution, India became sovereign. This is the meaning of the sovereign. That's the reason why today the parliament in India has the right to legislate on any subject. Nobody can give directions to the Indian parliament on what areas you need to make your legislations. It is completely independent authority of the state. Next one. We have another word that is called the republic. India is a republic, and we have seen India became republic on January 26th, 1950. And I told you yesterday also, while I am using the word republic. When I use the word republic here, it is nothing but the head of the nation. The head of the nation is elected. The head of the nation in India is the president. And we know that there is a procedure in the constitution that is mentioned. And only according to that procedure, the president in India will be elected. Hence, India is a republic. India is not just one country in the world which is republic. There are so many other countries which are considered to be republic because the head of the nation in those countries are also getting elected. He is getting elected through a process. Hence, those countries are also called republic. And with the commencement of the constitution, India became a republic. Okay, I'll show you this document again. Kindly have a look at this. Yeah. The head of the state, you know the meaning of the state. I explained you in the previous class. The head of the state is elected. India has an elected president at the head for a fixed term. Apart from this, if you look at this word here, there is nothing like any privileged class in India. That's the reason all offices, including that of the president, are open to all the citizens. That's the reason there is nothing like any privileged sections in the society. There is nothing like only a particular category of the people are permitted to contest in the election of the president. No. This office is eligible and open for all the people that are present in the country. The Constitution has laid down only certain things, that anybody who wants to contest in the election of the president must be a citizen of India and should not be less than 35 years of age. Of course, the Constitution said that he should have completed he should have completed 35 years of age. It is not, should not be less than 35 years. Let me make it a correction here. When it comes to the qualification of the President of India, number one, he must be a citizen. Number two, he should have completed 35 years of age. Okay, there is a difference between not less than 35, should have completed 35 years. Meaning, according to Indian Constitution, anybody who is equal to 35 is not permitted to contest in the elections. He should be above 35. He should have completed 35 years. This is one place where Indian Constitution is different from American Constitution. American Constitution says that anybody who wants to contest in the election of the president should not be less than 35 years of age. Meaning, in America, equal to 35 is permitted, whereas in India it is not permitted. In India, he should have completed 35 years of age. Am I clear? Anybody with these qualifications can happily contest in the election of the president in India. That is number one. Next one. I'll open the document. We'll come across with another word that is called the socialist. Let us see what is this. Now, socialist. So this has been added through the 42nd Amendment of 1976. We know this. Two words have been added, sovereign and socialist. Sorry, socialist and secular. So now we are looking into the word socialist here. Now look at this. Added through 42nd Amendment. The word socialism means placing the means of production and distribution in the hands of the government. That is nothing but the public control. That is nothing but the state. This is the basic idea of the word socialism. Kindly follow this one. These words are very frequently used during the discussions in the parliament, during the discussions at the international level, during various debates. These particular words are being used. This is nothing but placing the means of production and distribution in the hands of the public control. It also means elimination of inequalities in income and status and standard of living. In India, this is the democratic socialism. Here, there is an existence of both the public sector and also the private sectors. In any country, if both the public sector and private sectors are engaged in its economy, that economy is called a mixed economy. You might have come across this word with this word so many times. Indian economy is a mixed economy, meaning in Indian economy, there is a permission for the existence of both government sector and also the private sectors. And if you come to this one, last one here, the socialism also strives to end inequality of opportunities. Previously, the opportunities were provided only to the certain sections of the society. They are considered to be the privileged sections of the society. But later, once the concept of socialism has come into the picture, it will strive to end inequality of opportunity, meaning every person should be provided with equal opportunities. That is the meaning of the socialism. Kindly remember, placing means of production and distribution in the hands of the public control, elimination of inequalities in income and status and standard of living. In India, it is a mixed economy, nothing but coexistence of public sector and private sectors. And the socialism strives to end inequality of opportunity. Look at this. The 44th Amendment made an attempt to define the socialism to mean free from all forms of exploitation. All forms in the sense social exploitation, economic exploitation, and political exploitation. But the definition was not adopted. Am I clear? Now, next. So we are coming across with another word that is called seculars. So we are using this word secular now. And I told you just now, the word secular again has been added through the 42nd Amendment in the year 1976. India is a secular, there is no doubt about this. But the word secular was not mentioned in the preamble in the beginning. That's the reason why Indira Gandhi government made an attempt and they have successfully inserted this word secular in the preamble. And we know what is the meaning of this. It is nothing but giving equal respect to all the religions. Okay. Now let me open the document again and let me show you some points which are related to this secular. Look at this. Secularism is a belief that rejection of all forms of religious faith and worship. And the term secular was added through the 42nd Amendment. The word secular means the state has no official religion. Kindly see here, since the beginning there was no official religion in India starting from 1950. But in order to make it more comprehensive and more meaningful, Indira Gandhi government, they have added the word, this is secular, only to make it very sure that the state does not have any official religion. Next one. All religions in the country have the same status and support. Kindly see here, if you look at the line number 1, secularism is a belief. And if you look at the line number 4, kindly try to compare these two lines. Look at the first one. Let me tell you some points. It is a belief that it rejects all forms of religious faith and worship. That is one form of the secularism. But when it comes to the line number 4, the religions in the country have the same status and support, meaning we are providing equal respect to all the regions. The point is that whether the state should stay away from the politics, I'm sorry, whether the state stay away from the religion, or the state should give equal respect to all the religions. And finally, India decided to give equal respect to all the religions rather than staying away from the religious concepts. Through 42nd Amendment, the meaning sought to be given was Sarva Dharma Sambhava. It means treating all religions alike or giving equal respect to all religions. Previously, the word was not there, hence the meaning was not so clear. Whether you are staying away from the religion or you are giving equal respect. To give a concrete meaning to that one, this word has been added. Since then, all religions alike are given equal respect to each and every religion. That is the meaning of the secular. Next one is the democracy. What do you mean by this democratic here? If you look at the word democratic, there are two words. One is the demos, second one is the kratia, that is the people's rule. So many countries in the world are democratic in nature. Whenever we use the word democracy, it is the people of that country who rule themselves. But how is it possible? Look at country like India or any other small country. If it is a democratic nation, the basic expectation is that the people of the country will be coming together, sitting together, discussing together, and deciding together about what they want, about their requirements. But it is not possible in any country because of the huge population. Hence, there is a concept of democracy through which the people of the country will be electing their representatives. That is the reason why we have Lok Sabha elections, we have state legislative assembly elections. So, through these elections, the people of the country are coming out and we are expressing our intention and we are voting for a candidate, and that candidate is becoming our representative. He is going to the Lok Sabha, and other person who is an MLA, he is going to the assembly. And after going there, these are the people who are expected to act on behalf of the people who voted for them. That's the reason if they speak anything in the parliament or if they speak anything in the state legislature, that is considered to be the voice of the people. Meaning, in a democracy, because we cannot meet and we cannot decide so many things, the concept of election plays a very, very crucial role. Through election, we elect our representatives. Hence, in India, rather in any country, whatever the democracy we are using, that is nothing but representative democracy. It is not a direct democracy. Our representatives are sitting in the parliament and taking the decisions. On behalf of the people, it is happening. Hence, it is called representative democracy. And in a democracy, all political offices are open for all the citizens. That's the reason why the criteria, the status is only one. The person should be the citizen of India, and the age criteria will be there, and that will vary from one office to the others. Anybody who falls in these particular qualifications is permitted to contest in the elections and he can get elected to the respective offices. That is the principle of the democracy. I'll show you the document now. Look at this. Democracy means rule by the people. It envisages, meaning it will foresee both the democratic form of government and a democratic society, which is infused with the spirit of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. And Indian democracy is a representative democracy because the people of the country elect their own representatives. And another feature of the democracy is that one person, one vote. You might have seen in the previous elections. Rather, in any election that happens in India, each person who is eligible to vote is permitted to go for only one vote. This is another concept in the democracy. Okay. Now, let me go to the specific objectives of the Indian Constitution. They are nothing but social justice. I'm sorry. Just a moment. Yeah. This is the justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Now let's try to understand each one with a detailed manner. While talking about justice only, I have told you, beside justice, I have three words: social, economic, and political. This is the sequence. That sequence is important for me. Let's try to understand the concept of the justice here. When I use the word justice, this is nothing but harmonizing the interest between the individuals and between the individuals and groups and the interests of the community. Meaning, harmony is the fundamental principle. This is not just confined to the legal justice. And finally, if you look at this, social justice has been given the predominance over economic justice and the political justice. Now, kindly see here, when I'm talking about this preamble or anything here, we are coming across with so many words we have seen. Maybe the secular, democratic, sovereign, socialist, and all the things. And now we are talking in terms of the specific objectives of the Indian Constitution. And we started with the justice. We'll see liberty, equality, and fraternity also. But kindly remember this one. Whatever the words we are talking in preamble now, these words, they also have the related articles in the Constitution. And when I come to that area, when I'm discussing about those articles, I'll try to tell you that this is the area which is talking in terms of the social justice. This is the area which is talking in terms of the political justice. This is the area the concept of republic comes into the picture. This is the area that is where the concept of democracy comes into the picture. This is the area where the concept of secularism comes into picture. Kindly remember, it is not just learning the words what I'm telling you now. These words should also be associated with the articles that are mentioned within the Constitution. Then only thorough understanding of the society, thorough understanding of the Constitution, thorough understanding of the working of the government is possible. In order to achieve that one, we need to be, lots of patience should be there, and with lots of patience we should be learning continuously. That is what we are trying to do it now. Okay, let me open the document now. Let me tell you what is the meaning of the social justice. Look at this. It implies that all the citizens are treated equally, irrespective of their status in the society, as a result of birth, race, caste, religion, sex, or title, etc. Kindly remember this one. Social justice in the sense all the citizens must be treated equally. Kindly don't take anything into consideration like a birth, caste, religion, etc. Everybody should be treated equally. That is the meaning of the social justice. You might have, let me tell you these points here now. You might have heard these words, especially during the times of the elections. Nowadays, our political leaders, they are using this concept of social justice. Now they are saying, after the commencement of the Constitution, so many years, now they are saying, one of their priorities will be the social justice. So what is the meaning? All these days it is very much missing in the society. That is the reason why these political parties, again, they are emphasizing on the concept of the social justice. So whatever is mentioned in the Constitution, they are trying to talk about this. So it is a clear indication that just because something is present in the Constitution, it does not mean that the people will be enjoying. One example is the social justice. Next, look at this. Article 15 of the Indian Constitution prohibits in the matters of access to the public place. Clear? Very, very important here. And see here, these points, just to forget about this right now. When I come to these articles, I'll have a detailed discussion regarding each and every one. Now, so that is the reason under article number 15, everybody has access to the public places. Meaning, if anybody with respect to the public places, if denied of the permission for entry, that is nothing but the violation of the concept of the social justice, because the Constitution is giving the social justice to the people. In the similar manner, Article 38 says that the state should strive to promote the welfare of the people. When we come to these areas, we'll have a detailed discussions. Next one is the economic justice. Look at this. What is the meaning of this? Look at this now. In the economic justice, the rich and poor should be treated alike, and the efforts should be made to fill the gap between the two. Otherwise, even in India today, also we say that rich is becoming richer and poor becoming poorer. But the concept of economic justice says that reduce the gap. You fill the gap between the two. That's a basic idea. Article 39 of the Indian Constitution directs the state to try to secure that the citizens have an adequate means of livelihood. So, hence, it is the responsibility of the state, it is the responsibility of the government of the day to provide the adequate means of livelihood to the people. That is the meaning of the economic justice. Kindly follow the sequence. We have discussed about social justice and we are talking about the economic justice. Now I am talking to you regarding the political justice. Let's try to understand what exactly is the meaning of this. Now, look at this. This means absence of any arbitrary distinction between one person and the other person in the political sphere. I told you just now, in a democracy, we are talking in terms of the political justice. Hence, in this concept, every person should be given equal opportunity in the political field. That is the reason why all political offices in the country are open for all the citizens. The only criteria is the age. The concept of age comes into the picture. For the president, it should be he should have completed 35 years. Vice president again 35. Governor again 35 years. When it comes to Rajya Sabha, the person who wants to contest in the Rajya Sabha should not be less than 30 years of age, and for Lok Sabha, not less than 25 years. State Legislative Assembly, again, not less than 25. State Legislative Council, not less than 30. So this is one important area for me where I am talking about the age concept here. But otherwise, all political offices are equally open for all the people in the country. Okay, that is the meaning of the political justice. I'll show you some point here. Because of this, irrespective of propriety or the educational qualifications, every citizen is allowed to participate in the political system. So this is the irrespective of the property or educational qualifications. Every citizen is allowed to participate in the political system, and all the citizens have the right to participate in the political process. Okay, now if you look at this one, I think this is immaterial here. So we are talking in terms of the employment. I'm just removing it now. If you look at Article 325 and 326, that provide for equal rights to all the adults to participate in the elections. Okay, they are providing equal rights to all the adults to participate in the election. Article 325 of the Indian Constitution mentions no person to be ineligible for inclusion in or to claim to be included in a special electoral rolls on the grounds of religion, race, caste, or sex. Meaning, no person should become ineligible. In the simple terms here, every person should be permitted to be included in the electoral rolls. You cannot deny anybody on the reasons of religion, race, caste, or sex. Next, Article 326 says that elections to the Lok Sabha and the elections to the legislative assemblies of the state to be on the basis of adult franchise. I told you what is the meaning of the adult franchise. This is nothing but right to vote. All the adults in the country, each person who is not less than 18 years of age is permitted to vote in the elections. Okay. Next, I'm moving to the next point. This is the liberty. When I'm using the word liberty, look at this. We have five words here: liberty of thought, expression, THOUGHT, thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Look at this: liberty in the sense, absence of the interference in individual freedom of action by the governments. Don't interfere. That is the basic idea. It is the liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Look at this article number 19, guarantees the freedom of speech and expression. This is a part of the fundamental rights. I will explain you in a very, very, very elaborate manner when we come to that topic. Next one, Articles 25 to 28 of the Constitution of India guarantees the freedom of religion, including belief, faith, and worship. Okay, kindly remember these words here. Article 19, it's mentioning something about the speech and expression. 25 to 28, they are talking about the freedom of religion. Again, 25 to 28 is also part of our discussion on fundamental rights. And during that time, again, we'll have a detailed discussion. Look at this. All the rights are guaranteed with the reasonable restrictions. Anyway, I'll tell you these points later when we come to about fundamental rights. Next one. Next one is the equality. All the citizens are equal before the law and enjoy equal protection of the laws of the land. So this is one idea. When I'm talking about the equality, there should be no discrimination between the person and other person on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth in the matters related to the access to the public places and public employment, meaning everybody should be treated equally before the law. Hence, all the citizens will also enjoy equal political rights. Okay, now look at this. In the economic field, for the same ability and the same labor, salary is also expected to be same. That is again comes under the equality. Articles 14 to 18, again it is a part of our fundamental rights. They mentions equality of status and of opportunity. Okay, the last one we'll see, that is a fraternity. What is the meaning of this fraternity? See, when it comes to the fraternity, this is nothing but promotion of the brotherhood. I told you one point during the discussion of the previous classes. We adopted the concept of single citizenship. Though the citizens of the country are living in different states, the constitution has permitted for the single citizenship. The basic idea of the single citizenship is for the promotion of the fraternity. Fraternity is nothing but it's a brotherhood. That is the reason we always say we are the citizens of India, and we never say we belong to, we are the citizens of a particular state. Am I clear? So this is the basic idea. In order to promote the concept of fraternity, we have adopted the single citizenship. Otherwise, what happens? India became independent, and various states that are present in India, they got integrated under very, very difficult circumstances. The process was not so easy. And even in future also, in order to continue this unity, so there was a necessity to have the concept of single citizenship. And the unity will be continued only when the fraternity concept will be included in the whole system. That's the reason why if we say that we are the citizens of a particular state, that may lead to the division over a period of time. Hence, single citizenship concept was used. That is basically meant for promoting the concept of fraternity. And I'll show you what is the meaning of the fraternity now. This means promoting the brotherhood among the citizens. Look at this. The concept of single citizenship is directed towards promoting the fraternity. The fundamental rights that are guaranteed also promote the fraternity. The DPSP talks about the promotion of harmony. The objective of the dignity of the individual was to improve the quality of life for the individuals. See here how many things have come in the fraternity. Fundamental rights are talking about fraternity. DPSP is also talking about the fraternity. Dignity of the individual is coming into picture. And for promotion of this one, fraternity, Article 17 is also playing a crucial role where it abolishes the practice of untouchability. The unity and integrity of the nation is possible through the dignity of the individual. Each person has to be provided with the dignity of the individual that should be maintained. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult for the nation to promote the concept of unity and integrity. The economic development is also not possible without unity and integrity. Hopefully, you will understand all the points. Okay, but I want you to understand the meaning of each and every word. These words we are going to use in our future classes. Okay, kindly here I would like to tell you one thing. Some time back I was discussing certain issues with you. During that time I told you the whole preparation for the civil services will be completed only when you have thorough understanding of the Indian Constitution. Let me make it once again very clear. Without understanding the Indian Constitution properly, getting into the civil services is rather very difficult, rather it is not possible. In order to understand the values, in order to crack the examination tomorrow, understanding the Constitution is very, very important, because whatever you are learning from Indian Constitution, that you will be using in the economy, that you will be using even in the social aspects, that you will be using in various current affairs aspects. And majority of the areas in the main examination also, you need to touch the concept of the Indian Constitution. Without this, getting good marks and getting selected for civil services is rather difficult, very difficult task, rather impossible. That's the reason, once you are thorough with the Constitution, take it for granted, you are 50% of the preparation, rather more than 50% of the preparation with respect to civil services is over. Am I clear? Next, I'm going to the next point. Let me open the document. Now look at this. Article 51A makes it the duty of every citizen to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India and promote harmony and brotherhood. Article 51 talks about the fundamental duties. Okay, and one of the fundamental duties is this. Okay, all right. Now, look at this. It was a question in the examination. UPSC, it was 1997, it was a question. Look at this in the examination. Every time we cannot expect a very, very small questions to be asked. Already I have shown you some questions in the previous classes which were already asked in the UPSC examination. We cannot expect the question should be so small in every examination, and every question cannot be very, very tiny. Sometimes a larger question will be asked. In the year 1997, examples here, in one complete page, there is a question. One question was given in complete page. But by looking at the size of the question, we should not get horrified. We should not get frightened. And the question is related only regarding the simple. Since we have understood the whole preamble now in a detailed manner, once I show you this question to you, it becomes very easy for you to answer. For a person who does not know the preamble, he will get frightened by looking at this question because the question is so big. It has been given in the entire page, and they have given the whole preamble, and at the end of the question they have asked that we have given that the date of adoption has been mentioned in the preamble, and at the place of this particular date the UPSC has given X. Entire preamble has been given in that paper, each and every word. But at the end, instead of giving the date, 26th day of November 1949, UPSC has given X, and the question is related to X stands for. Can't we answer the question? We can very easily answer the question because we know the whole preamble now. That's the reason why kindly don't get frightened, don't get scared if you look at the questions which are lengthy in nature. Am I clear? UPSC will give the questions in such a way where lot of time is not going to be wasted on each and every question. Is that okay? They want the candidates, meritorious candidates. At the same time, you are expected to be intelligent, and that will be tested by this UPSC. Is that okay? Now, look at the question now. I'll show it to you. So this is the question. Everything, every word has been mentioned in the preamble here. But if you come to this particular point, this particular line, in our Constituent Assembly, this X that is given, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Right? Now, if you look at the question, simple here, X stands for, you can answer it very clearly. Is it 26th day of January 1950? No, that is the date of commencement of the Constitution. But when it comes to here, B is the answer. B is the answer, 26th day of November 1949. Am I clear? This is how the questions will be sometimes so simple here. Now look at this. I have another question for you. Kindly have a look at this. The basic structure theory of the Constitution of India implies that the basic structure theory of the Constitution. Kindly remember this one. What is basic structure is nowhere mentioned in the Constitution. I am repeating my statement. What is basic structure is not mentioned in the Constitution. But today we know what is the basic structure. It is because of the various judgments that are given by the Supreme Court. And according to the basic structure theory that is given by the Supreme Court, now look at the answer ABCD. It implies that certain features of the Constitution are so important, are so essential that they cannot be abrogated. Yes, option A should be the answer here, because certain areas like maybe secularism, maybe democracy, maybe judicial review, these are considered to be so essential for the Constitution and they cannot be abrogated. Example, tomorrow the Parliament may try to do anything, but it cannot remove the concept of the secularism. If it tries to remove the concept of secularism from Indian Constitution, that is nothing but it is violating the basic structure of the Constitution, and the Supreme Court will come into the picture now. Okay, next, kindly read other statements also. Fundamental rights can be abridged or taken away. No, that is not the point. Fundamental rights can be taken away. The Constitution cannot be amended except in accordance with the procedure prescribed in Article 368. That is also wrong, because we have seen already Indian Constitution is both rigid and flexible. Rigid means special majority. Flexible means with a simple majority also we can amend the Constitution. Hence option C should be wrong. The preamble of the Constitution cannot be amended because it is not a part of the Constitution and at the same time represent its real spirit. This statement is wrong because Supreme Court made it very clear in 1973 in Keshwananda Bharati case that preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. But here, if you look at the question, the basic structure theory of the Constitution of India implies that certain features of the Constitution are so essential to it that they can't be abrogated. Am I clear? Next, I'm going to some miscellaneous points are there. You can just have a look at this. The Constitution of United States of America was the first constitution to begin with the preamble. Pakistan was under British dominion up to the year 1956, whereas India up to 1950 only. But it was a part of, it was enjoying the dominion status of the Commonwealth groups. But when it comes to Pakistan, it continued up to 1956. In Berubari case of 1960, the court said that the preamble was key to the minds of the framers of the Constitution. Clear? Look at this very, very important statement they have given. The Supreme Court made it. Preamble was the key to the minds of the framers of the Indian Constitution. In Berubari Union case of 1960, Justice Gajendra Gadkar said that the preamble was not a part of the Indian Constitution. Right? This is what we have seen in 1960. In Golaknath versus Punjab case, Justice Muhammad Hidayatullah said that the preamble is the very soul of the Constitution, eternal and unalterable. Okay. See here, when it comes to these statements that are given by these great people, maybe you are taking some time for understanding this because this is at the beginning stage. But over a period of time, as we enter more into the subject, deeper into the subject, more things you will be understand very clearly. And then if you come back and look at these points, it will be clearly understandable. That's the reason. If you are understanding the statements now, it's well and good. Otherwise also no issues, because we are continuously going for the repetitions. Hence it will become so easy for you, at least after a period of time. Next one. Just like any other part of the Indian Constitution, the preamble was also fully discussed. It was also enacted, and finally it was adopted by the Constituent Assembly. Next one. While putting the preamble to the vote, the President of the Constituent Assembly has said that the question is that preamble stands part of the Constitution. Right? Dr. Rajendra Prasad said that it is a part of the Constitution. Look at this. Next one. In 1973, in Keshwananda Bharati case, Justice Sikri said that preamble was not only very much a part of the Constitution, but was an extreme importance, and the Constitution should be read in the light of a grand and noble vision expressed in the preamble. That's the reason why I always say preamble is very, very, very important. Without understanding the preamble, understanding the remaining concepts is not at all possible. And if somebody tries to understand the other parts of the Constitution without understanding preamble, that is not a comprehensive understanding. Look at this. Through 42nd Amendment of 1976, unity of the nation was amended to read unity and integrity of the nation. In Bommai versus Union of India case, Justice Ramaswamy said that the preamble of the Constitution is an integral part. Look at this. Democratic form of government, federal structure, unity and integrity of the nation, secularism, social justice, and judicial review are the basic features of the Indian Constitution. Kindly remember, these are all the basic features because the Supreme Court mentioned it. Now look at the next point. In Keshwananda Bharati of 1973, Justice Matthews said that the Republic of India was a sovereign because it could make or unmake any decision with respect to itself without any interference to the from outside. And Article 1, Clause 3, subclause C of the Constitution made it clear that the Union of India could acquire foreign territory. When I come to this topic, I'll have a detailed explanation. But India can acquire any foreign territory. In the Berubari versus Union case 1960, the Supreme Court said that one of the attributes of the sovereignty is the power to cede parts of national territory if necessary. What is the meaning of this? This Article 1 is making it very, very clear India can acquire a foreign territory, but can we give away any territory to somebody else? But in Berubari case, the Supreme Court made it clear India has the power, it can cede the parts of Indian territory to other nation, but whenever you are doing it, go for the amendment of the constitution. Okay, next one. In the Maghanbhai Ishwarbhai Patel versus Union of India case of 1970, the court said that the union could also cede its territory subject to the necessary constitutional amendments. Okay, the term socialist was not defined. The term secular was also not defined by the constitution. Look at this. Look at this here. In the SR Bommai versus Union of India case in 1994, the Supreme Court justified that the proclamation of the president's rule under Article 356 imposing the same in BJP ruled states aftermath of Babri Masjid demolition on the grounds of threat to secularism, which the court held to be a basic feature of the constitution. Babri Masjid demolition, you know what is this? And later, the president's rule was imposed, and during that time, the court used again the concept of secularism on the grounds of a threat to the secularism. During that time, the court reiterated the secularism to be a part of the basic feature of the constitution. Look at this. Before 42nd Amendment in the year 1976, the word secular was not mentioned. All right. Now, Jawaharlal Nehru and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar were clear that the political justice is meaningless without economic justice. And without social justice, these two are meaningless, according to the same people. Next one. When it comes to Berubari, you might have just seen, this is an area that is transferred to Pakistan by the Indian government in the year 1961. So Berubari, this area. Always this will be coming into discussion every time. Okay. Now, so this is the story that is related to the preamble, which is considered to be very, very important part of the Indian Constitution. I want you to be very, very thorough with this particular preamble. Okay. And let me stop this class here. And tomorrow we'll take up the next topic and we'll try to read the part 1, part 2. Again, the discussion continues. Again, I'm repeating, this is the most important subject with respect to cracking the examination for civil services. Hence, pay great attention and read the subject repetitively for better and comprehensive understanding. So thank you so much for being with me this morning, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Till then, I wish you all the very, very best and have a very good day. Thank you.